What's going on, guys? It's Jonathan. I am the spiritually awakened empath, and this channel is devoted to helping individuals heal, manifest, and expand their consciousness, and much, much more. In this video, I want to talk about how you can permanently raise up your vibrations and permanently get yourself in a loving state of mind and state of being. And the truth is, it's not going to be found in any three-step program. Even though these three-step programs might help raise your vibrations temporarily, the truest and most purest way to do this is through healing. It's through going back into the past and reliving all your situations and learning the deeper meanings behind all these situations. And the truth of it is, it will be painful. You will have to go into the dark. You will have to go see the shadow side of yourself. But once you do this and you're actually able to release these emotions, these negative emotions, you're going to be able to start finally clearing all those bad emotions from your heart chakra, and you're going to be able to start raising up your vibrations. And I know what you're saying, it's too painful. I don't want to have to relive this situation. You don't have to relive the situation at first. At first, you just have to be able to forgive yourself. You have to be able to release this emotion. No matter how painful it is, if you're able to, you take the time, you sit in a quiet place, and when it comes up, you allow it to release. You take all the time you need to release this pain. Because the wonderful thing is, when you feel something painful, when you're able to release it, you're able to get your power back. Yeah, once you're able to release it, think about it. Pain is weakness leaving the body. I can tell you this from my personal experiences, from my purging I did on the early on stage of my awakening. As painful as it was to feel these negative emotions and release them, the amount of empowerment I felt after I was able to release this once and for all. And not only that, it's the knowledge you're going to gain from these situations, because once you're able to release these negative emotions, now you're going to be able to look at it, let's say, from a third person perspective. You're going to be able to see it from a neutral point of view. Therefore, you're not going to take sides. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, but this person did this to me, and you totally forget about what you did to that person. And I'll give you an example. I have a child with a woman, and we got separated. And literally for a good year or two, I was always just, thinking about what she had done in order to cause this breakup. I really didn't put much thought into what I had done or how I was acting, towards the end. And that's the thing. It's each time you relive a situation, each time this idea comes back in your head, you have to remember that you're tweaking it a little bit. You see what I mean? So I basically completely forgot how I was treating her near the end. And it wasn't until this one day I ended up having a meditation. And I wasn't planning on thinking about this. I wasn't planning on reviewing this situation. But it was the movie being played in my head. It was one of our last arguments we had. And I'm telling you this, I became extremely emotional because how bad of a person I was during this argument. I had totally forgotten about how I had treated her at the end. I was only focusing on what she had done. And that's the thing. Once I saw this, I was able to see that we were both equally in the wrong. And not only that, the relationship wasn't meant to last. This was a karmic relationship. I was meant to learn a life lesson that I should have learned previously, but because I hadn't healed previous life events, I was reliving, maybe not the same situation, but you're reliving situations that are going to bring up those exact emotions. And that's the thing. Your heart, the natural state of emotional being of your heart is to live out of love, joy, and happiness. Look at a newborn baby. A newborn baby is just this ball of joy and love and is always happy. That's the natural state of your heart. But by accumulating all these different situations where you refuse to feel the pain, you refuse to go into the dark and acknowledge that it did happen and try to see something good out of that situation, what you're doing is you're adding that inventory into your heart space. And I want you to picture your heart space as this big warehouse that can only contain 100 containers. Okay? But what's happening is if you keep constantly are leaving these negative emotions and you're not releasing them, you're adding these to your heart space. And that's why it'll bring your vibrations down. That's why you might be living right now in fear, guilt, and shame. Your pride might be controlling you. You might have too much pride in order to ask for help. Your ego might also be making a big influence on you also during this. And it's all these negative emotions that bring down your vibrations. And not only that, it's going to cause you to relive situations where you end up feeling the exact same emotion as you once did, because you're not willing to look into the dark, to look at the deepest part of yourself and actually take out what good life lesson, what were you supposed to learn out of this life lesson. It's the same as, let's say you've dated a 4, 5, 6, 7 person, and you're always constantly getting the same type of person, and you're always saying, I don't want my next boyfriend to be like this. Until you're able to resolve why this person is acting this way, what you're supposed to learn out of this life lesson, it's going to continually happen. And that's the thing. Even like, let's say right now you're trying to manifest your soulmate, you have to look at how much inner work have you done. Because if you haven't done enough inner work, it's just going to be a karmic soulmate relationship. It's going to be another relationship. Yeah, it might be amazing at first, but you're going to end up feeling these emotions that you were meant to let go in the past. You're meant to review the situation from a neutral point of view and learn the deep life lessons behind them. So it's going to continue to keep on happening. And I know it can be hard, especially right now, if you haven't even been awakened for a year and you're still going through the purging stage. Okay, you're losing friends left and right because they're not understanding what you're going through. Even your family isn't understanding what you're going through, and you're having a really difficult time with healing certain issues. You have to remember something, okay? No matter how traumatic of a life you've had, there are literally millions of people on this earth that have had the exact same experience as you. Okay, you're not alone in this. And if you're having a hard time and you need someone to talk to, come join my Facebook group. Okay, Spiritually Awakened Empath YT. Come join my Facebook group and you'll see there'll be lots of like-minded people just like you that are going to come from a place of love, and they're going to most likely have lived through similar situations, and I'll be able to give you the knowledge, give you the understanding you need in order to move forward, in order to start raising up your vibrations. And it's through this healing that you're going to slowly see that you're going to start having a lot more better days. All of a sudden, you're going to start feeling a lot more happiness. And the beauty about the healing process, okay, is that once you start raising up your vibrations, this always gets projected out into your reality. However, your natural state right now of your emotional being, as in how you feel currently in your heart, is getting projected out into your reality. And by not releasing any of these old emotions, that's why you might be living a life right now. You're living in fear. You might be in survival mode. You know, you might feel guilty, you might feel shame. Your self-worth might not be high. Your self-love might not be where it should be. Well, all this gets reflected out into your reality. And the truth is, it's once you begin to heal this, that's when you're going to be able to permanently raise up your vibrations. And it's not to say, I do have bad days sometimes. I'll be honest, like, it's not happy days all the time. Why? Because I'm not always doing what I enjoy all the time. It's literally impossible to always just say, I'm only going to do things that make me happy and I'm only going to have positive thoughts. Because I'll give you an example. I'm a spiritual guide, and as much as I love doing what I'm doing, I really didn't enjoy creating my website. Okay, it was something that I struggled with. It's something that it took me almost 4 months to create this website. And it was extremely difficult because I don't have the computer knowledge. I'm not a computer programmer. But it was made evident to me from the start that I was supposed to do this project completely on my own. It was time and time over again. I would ask someone for help who had more knowledge with computers, and it kept on falling through. And then it made me realize that you're right. You know, my angels already told me way at the beginning, this project is meant to have only your loving energy in it. It can't have any outside interference if you want to have success with this. You see? But then I was struggling. And for a while, I'll admit, for a couple of weeks, it was a couple of months into creating my online site, I was struggling. I couldn't figure out, because literally you have to work with 6, 7, 8 different programs at the same time. And I was struggling. I wasn't able to figure out how to do something. And I started for a couple of days, maybe a week, I started having the mentality of, I can't do this. I'm going to have to hire someone else to do this, you know? But then all of a sudden, one day, I changed that train of thought. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, I started thinking, how can I accomplish this? And I'm telling you this, within four or five, I was thinking about this, let's on the Monday, Tuesday, and by Friday, I ended up finally getting help from a friend, but he didn't physically do anything on my website. He was just able to get me to this one part in the program where I was able to extract that one thing I needed in order to get my site to work exactly the way that I want. We're going to take a couple minutes and we're going to talk about the healing process. The first part obviously is acknowledging whichever pain you're feeling, whichever negative emotion has been kept inside of you. Obviously, it's acknowledging this and it's taking the time to release it once and for all. Okay, it's putting yourself in a safe place where you're able to release those emotions. And if they come out in anger, they come out in anger. If they come out in tears, it doesn't matter which emotion you feel, but once you're able to release these emotions once and for all, then you're going to be able to forgive yourself. You're going to be able to get to the next stage where it's time to forgive yourself. And when you get to that stage of forgiving yourself, I really want you to remember this, okay? Whatever happened in your life might have happened in a matter of seconds. You know what I mean? The time frame probably wasn't as long, it guaranteed wasn't as long as the time you've had to think about this situation over and over again. And not only that, think about how much information did you have at that time? Because that's the problem. Most people, when let's say you have a regret in life, you're going to have so much more information, literally, weeks, months, years afterwards that you didn't have at the time. You see, so you really have to, if you're going to go in that route, you really have to think about what information you had at that time, what choices did you have, and I'm pretty much guaranteeing that it was most likely the best choice at that time. You had no choice to act a certain way. You had no choice to do a certain thing. And that's the thing with forgiving yourself, is once you're able to release all the extra knowledge you've gained over the years and just go back to that exact moment and go back to the exact timing you had, as far as, let's say, a regret or something like that, that's when you're going to be able to release it. And then you're going to truly be able to forgive yourself. And that's the great thing, is your intuition is going to get heightened at an extremely high level. And I'll give you an example. Last night, I don't get nightmares often, but for some reason last night I got a nightmare. Okay, I just kept on seeing like these skeletal faces, these zombies, like literally inches from my face. And it happened. I had the same dream almost a week ago, and I honestly, the first time it happened, you wake up, you're totally like still asleep, so I didn't put any thought into it. But then this time it popped up and I woke up, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go outside, get some fresh air. I'm gonna really just try to clear my head before I go back to bed. But then it made me realize that, I told myself, as of Monday, I'm officially going on YouTube full time. I'm officially doing all my social media things, whether it's my online courses, whether it's my mentoring, everything is going on full time as of Monday. So it was this fear that was still left in me. You see, and then I looked at the time when I woke up. I happened to see that it was 3:14 in the morning. So I started asking, okay, what 3:14? What could 3:14 mean? So what I ended up doing is I ended up looking at my angel number app, and then this was absolutely exactly what I needed to hear. It told me exactly what was happening. And what it basically said is, success is guaranteed. You're being guided, nurtured, and loved by your angels and your ascended masters. And only the highest outcome is possible. You see? So I end up having this nightmare where it's this little door, last door of resistance before I'm going through it. But I didn't allow this fear to take control of me. Why? Because my vibrations are so high. Whereas now I don't feel fear the same way as I used to feel fear. Now when I sense fear, I realize that I'm heading in the right direction. And you have to remember something, that since the beginning of time, people have been controlled and to feel fear all the time, to live in survival mode all the time. And that's how the elites control all of us. But it's once you're able to release this fear and once you're able to begin the healing process that you're going to see that, fear is no longer nothing. It no longer stops me from doing what I know I should do. It no longer stops me from moving forward in the exact same way that I should. You see, and you'll end up encountering this. You'll see there will be doors of resistance, and don't be hard on yourself because you're gonna see you're gonna fail the first several times. It's gonna be it's not quite the right timing, but then the beautiful part of it is you're gonna be triggered. You're gonna have triggers that are gonna tell you exactly what you need to work on in order to move forward. So don't be afraid. Start the healing process. Release these negative emotions that you've been hanging on to, and really be gentle with yourself. Start forgiving yourself, okay? Because you can't really think about all the extra information you have. You have to go back to then, and even if it's something that someone did to you, you have to remember you haven't lived in their shoes, okay? It could have been their upbringing, it could have been their social conditioning, it could have been many different reasons that made it logical for them to do what they did to you. And it's only through releasing this pain that you're gonna get the life lessons, and I'm telling you, you will. And another thing, connect with your angels and your guides. I don't know how spiritual you are, but I can tell you this, they have been the absolute best for me. I would not be doing this right now if I didn't have them in my life, encouraging me, loving me, and nurturing me. So I don't want you to get discouraged. I know it's a long process, but it really isn't. Because I can tell you this. Okay, the 5-year downward spiral I had, okay, where I literally lost everything, I'm regaining everything like 5 times faster. You see what I mean? And it's not just that. It's the fact that certain thing you have to let go of something in order to allow something new into your life. And it's through this healing process that also you're going to heighten up your intuition. Because right now, if you're still living in the low vibrational energy, fear, guilt, and shame and all that, you're still in survivor mode, you still consider yourself a victim in life, you're going to have a hard time feeling your intuition. You're going to have a hard time seeing the signs. You're going to have a hard time seeing the synchronicities, which is going to make it extremely difficult to feel encouraged to keep moving forward with this. And that's why some people, after they've had their awakening, even though they remain awakened, they pretend that it never happened and they go back to their ordinary life because of lack of understanding and lack of healing, not wanting to face their demons, not wanting to go into the dark in order to begin to heal. And think about it, without darkness there would be no light. So if you're really having a hard time, stick around this channel because I'm going to have many videos that are going to help you heal. And I'm also going to have videos to help you manifest and expand your consciousness. All right, I love you guys. My name is Jonathan. You guys have an amazing day. And if you want some more information on spiritual awakening, go visit my website, jonathanbaudry.com blogs. I post on there daily. And if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Namaste.